So I'm sharing my screen. Let me know when you can see. So today we will be seeing actually what was that? Okay, we need to see the eager loading. Actually, basically these are all design types. Okay. That is nothing to do with entity framework, but it's basically an framework related thing. It's not dependent on entity framework. Okay, you can use this in any framework, like maybe even in MVC or anything. Okay, so but yeah, because it is part of LinkU, it's widely used in entity framework, because entity framework uses only this LinkU. Okay, link use the language to write SQL in entity framework. Okay, so first we need to see three things. So you have mentioned the eager loading, which is actually include. Actually, that's the answer. What is eager loading is when you use include, that's the eager loading. Explicit loading for multiple directly and indirectly. So that will be like the other two cases. We have um, explicit loading, which is another type of design pattern in entity framework, and the other one is lazy loading. Okay, which is direct and indirect. Okay, so all the three comes in hand. Very simple on how you use them. Okay, it's basically what type of code you use. Okay, first is eager loading. You need to know lazy loading. So I told you, lazy loading is something that you do in your front end, like you load whatever only that is needed. That's lazy loading actually. Okay, and last minute it's explicit loading. Okay, so what these three actually mean. Okay, so eager loading, we'll start with eager loading. Okay, so eager loading helps you to load all you need, all your needed entities at once. Basically, here what we call as entity is your see this user master. Okay, this user master is the DB set that I have created for the model or the table that I have created inside my code. Okay, so basically, see, whatever table, see, one thing I'll tell you now today. Okay, so going forward, when you are developing anything for a entity framework, do not do as like what I have done. Okay, you put it separate folders. See this user DB context, no, you put this in a context folder. Okay, and user details and user master or the model that are directly tied to the table in the database, no, these you should call as entities. Okay,
Okay.
these are the entities, and this will be migration not anyways. So DB context and entities you should put in different so whenever when I say that what all the entities you need to load means, like what are the table data that you wanted to load. So eager loading is basically when you want to load everything at a single time. That's all. Whatever you want, you load it in a single time. Okay, basically all your child entities will be loaded at single database call. Okay, so one single call and everything will be loaded. This can be achieved using include method. So that's what has been mentioned. Yeah, so which returns the related entities as part of query, and a large amount of data is loaded at once. Okay, uh, again not advisable, only unless you definitely need this, because so if I say that you are loading very large amount of data in a single load means you are slowing down the process. Only if you need, you should do this. Okay,
Okay.
load everything in single call. Okay, used for large amount of data. When you want to load large amount of data, you do not want to break it, so you call them in a single database call. So you do not want to do a multiple database call, so you do it in a single database call. And That's why we use eager loading. Let's see how to use eager loading. That's here. So I'll do in this get all members. Say I want to get user master equal to gb context dot user masters dot. I should use so here I'm going to load the user with the user id. Okay, so what I'm going to do is include. I'm going to use include. Okay, include user id dot first dot default. Okay, so oh, I should not do this here. Sorry, this is not the right one. I should do this here because I am getting the user ID now. Here only I have the ID. Okay, so let's not use a. B equal to b dot user ID equal to ID. Okay, so I use include to get only the user ID, and then I filter that user ID with the ID that I have. Okay, so actually this is eager loading. So you get everything at the single call. So instead of directly filtering, see we usually we'll do put a where condition will directly filter. Instead of directly filtering, we get everything which we put as include, and from there we are filtering. You got it? So in the first default we are filtering so this is called eager loading. We get everything. Okay, we put include and we get everything with column user ID. That's all. Okay,
Okay.
you got it.
Yes, yes.
So have any questions?
If we, for example, if we have user master and user detail, okay,
I couldn't get
and
it. What are you saying?
uh, like we have two tables, like one is user master
Mm-hmm.
and another is user details. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so using include can be we can get user master as well user detail data.
If you want it in a
Single call.
different, like,
Yes.
yeah, you can do it in user detail, user details separately. No, that's what you're asking, no? Or you want
Yes.
to do join kind of thing, or what you are expecting?
Okay. Yes. That's
No, I do not understand. Like if you want user master, I already have the user master. If you want user details, where is the user detail? What is that called? Mm, what is the other one? User details. Uh, So if you want user details, one second. The user details is not coming. Let's go there. It should come here. Okay. So if you want, let's do that. Not here. Let's do that here. If you want user details, here also. Hmm. User details, and just do the same. No, you can do the same. Else, if you want to do like have a common another API which will be a combination of user master and user details. Yes, do this and then put a join and put the join. One second. You should put a join where you should how you should do, wait, you should put a join here. Should put user details, say what is the combination, is equal to a dot user id comma b equal to, sorry, b dot id comma, how did I wrote the join actually? I did wrote it here, no? Let's say you are doing this here. Add include here. Okay. Add
Okay.
towards the end. You should do it towards the end. Okay.
Okay.
So this will now get everything from your join, and then it will filter. Okay. But include will get everything. So that is the problem. Okay. So include will get everything. So it will, if your database is very huge, then it will get all the data and then only it will filter. So that is eager loading.
Okay.
Okay. So this is one. So next one will be the lazy loading. Okay. The next one, what I'm going to do is the lazy loading. So what is lazy loading? So I have given the gist of what is lazy loading basically. Lazy loading is actually a default behavior of entity framework. So where a child entity is loaded only when it is accessed for the first time. Okay, you have to call everything. Until and unless you are calling everything, it will not be called. That's all. Very simple. It simply delays the loading of the related data until you ask for it. Okay, very simple. So basically, it's not that complicated. If you have this same user master, okay, how do you do that actually? Basically, okay. See, one second. I'll just put this is what is this called? Eager loading. I'll just copy the same lazy loading. Okay, so how do you do in lazy loading? I said that you will call only if it is needed. Okay, then I will not call everything first of all. That's all. Okay,
Okay.
that's all. That is lazy loading. Simple. That's it. So see, lazy loading is the default thing that you do in your what in your database. Very simple. See, this is my user master only for a single model I'm calling. That's why in first or default I am putting. If I'm calling for a list, how do you do? You put a where condition. That's lazy
Yes.
loading. Simple. That's all.
Okay.
You understood? That's all.
Yes.
This is my single. If it is multiple, this will be replaced by, if it is a list, this first or default is replaced by where condition. That's all. That is your lazy loading. Okay,
Okay.
that's default in your entity framework. So whatever you do, that is lazy loading. Okay,
Okay.
you call only the data that you need. You do not get everything and all. That is unnecessary. Why you need
Yes.
everything? You can get, see, let's say there is 1 million data in your database. Taking a copy of 1 million data into your code itself will take time. After taking a copy only, you will be filtering it. That's simply waste of time. Okay.
Okay.
So the last one will be explicit loading. So There are options to disable lazy loading in entity framework. After turning lazy loading off, you can still load the entities by explicitly calling the load methods of the related entities. So basically, if you do not want to use lazy loading, okay, you can't. What you can do is explicitly you can call and load methods of the related entities. Okay, what I'm saying is lazy loading. What you are doing, like you are calling an entity, and then you are loading a particular data that only that you need. Okay,
Okay.
but let's say I'm saying this will not work. Lazy loading itself is not working in entity framework. Means how will you do that? You should explicitly call an entity and load the data. No, that is what it is called, explicit loading. See, um, no one would like to do that. Let's say I'm saying that I will switch off the lazy loading in your entity framework. Means nothing will work. The solve query will not work. These queries will not work. Now what you should do is you should make it work without lazy loading. Means how will you do that? Okay, this is the uh, when to use. First you should know when and why you should use lazy loading. Because why would someone switch off something that is working in a database and go for it? What I'm saying is, when this is not working, how to make this work? That's all I'm saying. When lazy loading is not working, which is the default in your entity framework, how do you make it make something work? Okay, to load data from your entities.
Okay.
When to use that? Okay, okay. Basically, we do explicit loading when there is no relations are not too much. First, this is an EDMH style. Okay, because EDMH style. It's a old practice where we do not have relations between the tables. Basically, if there is no foreign key, primary key, that and all between any tables, then you go for explicit loading because no table is connected to each other. Okay.
Okay.
Mm, basically, where we use lazy loading when you are using one to many collections. Like basically, we are using like one to many, like many collections. So when you have turned off lazy loading, we use explicit loading when you are not sure whether or not you will be using the entity beforehand. Okay, so only if you are switching off the lazy loading, and you don't know whether to use that entity before or after, like you want to get the data from the entity only, that you are not sure if uh, you're not sure to get the use the entity, then you use a explicit loading. Okay, so one second, I don't know how to switch off the lazy loading. I haven't done that. One second, I'm checking that. Okay, okay, oh, okay. Okay, can switch off this way, okay. Okay, so what they're saying is, basically what they are saying is, okay, then this is not you have to go to utility context. um, where do we do that? Second, I'm seeing how to switch it off. Mm. Mm. I'm not getting the configuration. Why that is not getting the configuration. That I am not very sure. Oh, here it should come this dot configuration dot enable lazy loading, which we should make as um, false. That I'm not able to do. Once again, there's one more thing. This dot change change tracker dot uh, see this. Okay, if I make this as false, then your lazy loading will not work. Okay,
Okay.
this is the change. Okay, this is this change, but uh, don't do this. Uh, okay, see, in summary, see, I will tell you why. See, lazy loading is a feature in entity framework core. Okay, so that allows related entities to be automatically loaded from database when they are accessed for the first time. Okay, with lazy loading, you can defer the loading of related entities until they are actually needed. Only when you need, you can call them rather than loading them all at once. Like the eager loading, we were loading all the data at once. We will not be doing that. So in entity framework core, lazy loading is achieved through using proxy objects, like what we do as DB sets and what we are using now. So using that only we are calling here. If you see, these are my proxy object. Using that, I call all my data. When an entity is loaded from database, a proxy object is created in place for real entity. Okay. When a property or navigation property of entity is accessed, okay.
Okay.
So this DB set, it's an proxy. We keep it as a local data table here in our code. So we keep it as a proxy where this acts as a table. See what I'm doing. DB context dot user master. Basically, what happens here? My table data it's been copied to my user master's DB set, and I am using this user master only. I am not using the table data. I'm using the proxy in my code. Okay. So So you load it only from here. That is your lazy loading. Okay. You are not loading anything explicitly from your database directly. Okay. You load everything from your user masters, which is your DB set. This is not your table, no. So this is your proxy. Okay. This is your lazy loading. You use it and you throw it whenever you do not want to. Okay. And you load only with whatever you want to. See, let's say you have a you are just doing an SQL in your database means your table is a real time table and you want to do anything on the table you do on a real live time. No, now I have a proxy for the table. I am not touching my database table itself. I am touching the proxy table only. Whatever I load it here, whatever I take it from here is a proxy, and it will be destroyed once I am not using it. No?
Okay.
And I can take only whatever that I need it from here. Okay, I am not affecting anything. And let's say I have this uh, and one more thing to define lazy loading is the connectivity. Okay, let's say I have this user master and that has a navigation property to user details. Okay, basically I have the foreign key relations, anything. Okay, okay, understand this. Okay,
Yes.
uh, I have user master and let's say I have a foreign key relation to user details. Okay, when
Okay.
I am loading it in a normal way, Okay, in eager loading, this also happens in eager loading, I will tell you. Okay, when I am loading it in a normal way, okay, loading in user masters in eager loading, every entity that is connected to the user master will be loaded. Okay, basically user master, this db set will be loaded, and user master has a connectivity to user details, so this user details will also be loaded. Okay, this
Okay.
is in eager loading, but in lazy loading only user masters will be loaded, user details will not be loaded.
Okay.
Okay, only if you call this user details it will be loaded. Okay, now you understood the exact meaning of lazy loading.
Yes. Yes.
Now let's say I do not want that, I want to load everything. I do not want to load uh, only the user masters. See, I am, that's why we are doing an include, which will bring all the data first. And when it brings all the data, I am putting an user id, no, any, if user id is a foreign key to any of the other table. So let's say this user id is related to this user details table. I haven't done the connectivity, but if I have connected it using a foreign key means I'm including user id, means user details will also be pulled. Okay,
Okay.
so basically, to enable lazy loading in, you can use lazy loading mode. That's what we have done here. But by default, it is enabled. But we can disable so that um, disable so that you can bring all the related tables. Basically, you can, when you load one table, all the related table will also be loaded. If you do not have lazy loading. Okay, in summary, lazy loading is a convenient feature in entity framework code that allows you to load related entities on demand. Okay, only on demand. That's the you should put underline only if you ask. That's the thing. Okay, but it should be used judiciously because it can impact. If you are not using it judiciously, it can impact the performance. Okay, if I am switching off the lazy loading and if I'm calling user master and this user master is connected to another 10 tables, means to get one table data I'll be loading 10 tables data, and it is obviously it's going to affect your performance. Okay,
Okay.
okay, that's the thing. Okay, so now you got it, what we are doing.
Yes.
You understood the difference, no, why lazy loading, why eager loading, and when and where to cut the lazy loading. Okay, if you do not have lazy loading, then you have to do, uh, when you disable lazy loading in entity framework, then you can still load the entities, every all the entities that are related, using, which is called explicit loading. After whatever you write after you disable the lazy loading, that is explicit loading. Let's say user master is equal to, sorry, db context user masters dot store default. That's all. This is your explicit calling. You don't see any difference, no? That is your explicit calling. But you can do one more thing. Context. So there are two ways to load the method reference. Okay. So what widely done? We use reference and we call the say user dot Okay, we mentioned the user details here. Okay, what we do is dot load is not coming now. ID load is not coming. Load here. Okay, load. Let's see there. Entry continue. Hmm. The entry. Entry. Hmm. Okay, I have used the user here. Okay, see, this is a way of getting all the related details. Okay, see, first way, this is an normal way. We call the user master, and we load based on user id. I'm saying user id is equal to id. So any data that is being pulled for user master, and any related tables will be automatically pulled along with this. Okay, that's very simple. See, let's say you want data from user masters alone. Okay, then you should call user master alone, right? If a user detail, this db set is also loaded. All this line number 56, when it is loads, user detail is also loaded. That is actually not needed. Few purpose, what we do is we just directly pass the user details. We will not write the code, but we just, anyways, when you want to pass the data, what you have to do, db context.user details, you have to get it and pass it somewhere, no? So yeah, but that's a way of working how entity framework works. So when you do this, all the related tables are called, and there is one more way to do that, and that is this. So db context dot entry, I'm entering the data into usr, that's the model. Okay, that's dot entry. And reference, what is the column, and I'm going to refer. Okay, dot load, that's all. You're just loading this model based on a reference column, that's all. Okay, and this way also all the related tables will be loaded. Okay, these are types of how you use an entity framework, that's all. You have any questions? Sir,
No.
three types, but lazy loading is the best type. Okay,
Okay.
that's the so if someone asks what is the best way to implement entity framework, whether using eager loading, lazy loading, or explicit loading, I would say always that will be lazy loading. So load data based on your demand. Do not load data based on like based on data itself, like based on the relation. Okay, if your table has 10 relation, it doesn't need to load all the 10 tables. You load data based on demand. That only makes your system and your application faster. Okay,
Okay.
any question?
No.
What else we have? We have, I think, only one is left. No, see, listener we saw yesterday. Mm, handling concurrency conflicts. I told I when you sent this itself, I told you. Okay, what is handling concurrency conflict? Not very complex. Let's say go to the member controller. Okay, see, I am doing an db context at user master at add now. Okay,
Okay.
without saving this change before. Okay, if I am doing another add inside, this will throw error because let's say I'm doing in a db context dot user master dot add in the same table. If I'm before saving, if I'm doing a delete means your db context will not be able to create two multiple connection in the same table. Okay, that is a concurrency conflict. You cannot create db context on the same table twice before changing. Okay, in the same
Okay.
table you cannot make another db context and make another action like delete or update. You cannot do that. Okay, so you should not do that. There is no roundabout way or solution and all. No, nothing. Entity framework doesn't have it. This is not SQL. No, you do not have any that kind of luxury and all. You don't have. You have to do separately only. After saving, you can do. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't run two DP contexts on same table parallel. That is exact words. Don't run DB contexts on same table parallelly. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So we have to see one which is what we call, one second. I'm saying you have sent deferred and this one, no? Deferred and immediate execution. See, immediate execution is whatever that we are doing. Okay. When you write an query, it executes immediately. That is immediate execution. Okay. Um, Enqueue provides a common query syntax. Okay, it doesn't provide a different one, so it always works with objects. See, these are all for us. It's object. Okay. When you create an, this is an object of the DB set. Okay. I have created an object. This is an object. No, variable is something that you when you initialize it is variable, but these kind of dynamic properties we call it as object. Okay, so the link queue mostly okay. How do you differ working on a link queue is either by in memory or out memory. What is out memory? We directly get the data from database and directly working on that. That is out memory. This is out memory. You get the data directly from database, and this DB context gets data directly from database, loads into user master, and directly on that you are working. Let's say you work on an, see this. I have got the data from the database and I have loaded into this list. If I work on this list, okay, user master, okay, is equal to user master dot where, sorry, user master, user, no, user master dot where. If I work on this, this means I'm working on the existing collection. I'm not working on the data directly from the database. No. So this we call as in memory. Okay. That you are
Okay.
very clear. No. So there are two ways of link queue query execution we can do. One is deferred execution and this immediate execution. So the immediate execution is whatever that we are doing. Like basically you run a query, immediately it executes. So in case of deferred execution, a query is not executed at the point of its declaration. It is executed when the query variables iterated. Basically, these all work. Basically, see, I don't know where you got this one. Deferred execution and immediate execution is not something that is of this itself entity framework. It's of the link queue. Basically, properly, it's of link queue. If someone is going to ask question in entity framework, they will not ask this question. Okay, but this is a proper link queue or MVC kind of thing. This is okay. So let's say, but how we can do that in this one? That's not a big deal. But yeah, I will show you an example. Let's say put a query where query is equal to I'm going to get the data. Okay, db context dot user master, uh, user master dot where, let's say I have some where. You think that I'm having some where. Okay. Okay, basically you should not do this, and this is an old way. I don't know whether that will work. Okay, from user in I don't know this will work. Let's see. These were all we used in a very long back. I don't know. See, it will be like writing SQL query. User ID equal to one. Let's give something else. Okay. User ID is equal to one, and we should select the data. Select user. Okay. Okay. Now we are getting the I'm just copying data from user masters where the condition is equal to 1 and copying it to user, and I'm selecting that particular value. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to do a for each. Okay. User inquiry, and I'm going to, let's say I'm just simply doing something here. Okay. So what happens here, what we are telling here is when we write this kind of code, okay, basically when we write this kind of code and use it in a where condition or somewhere, when you write this kind of code itself, the link you query expression often causes a deferred execution. What is a deferred execution means? When the code is executing, at this point it will not load data into query. No,
Okay.
it will not load data into query. When it comes to for each and it when try to loop into the query, at this point it will load data into the query. Only this at this point it will go and take the data and load it into query. That is what we call it as deferred execution. So deferred execution provides a facility of query reusability. Okay, since it always fetches the updated data from the data source. Let's say you are doing this. No, after here, if you do an update in the user master table. That is the exact way I can give you an example. Okay, in immediate execution, you use this way. Okay, you load the data into query. Okay, this way you are loading the data into query means where query one is equal to, okay. So here I'm loading the data into, let's put one query one. Here I'm getting the data into query. Here I'm going to update some data from the masters. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to update the data in user master, and I'm going to make the user ID 1 as 2. So there is no data for 1 now. Okay. So when I do the for each for query 1 and for each for query, what will happen? Tell me no.
Okay.
If I do for each for query 1, will there be data?
Uh, Actually, query one we can get only as a one row, right?
Hmm.
So we not using for each for query one.
Query 1 will have data or not? Here.
Yes, data. Yeah, right.
So then for query query will, if I do a for each for query, will query have data?
Yes, yes.
No, that is the difference. query will not have data. Query 1 will have data, because let's say you are having this one, query 1 you are doing it, and it loads the data into query 1 already. Okay, now you are coming to query. This code will not fetch any data from the database, okay, until and unless this query is called somewhere. Okay, this type of code will not fetch data anywhere until and unless this query is called anywhere. Only at that point it will come here and load the data. Okay.
Okay.
So this already loads the loaded data, so you have one row.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, it comes here, so it differs the execution. It comes here, differs execution. Now you are updating the user id to 2. Okay, now there is no user id 1. Okay, so you come here and do for query 1. Query 1 you already loaded it.
Okay.
This is your local collection. You are not again taking from user master. You have already loaded into your local collection. Your local collection will not differ, no, right?
Okay. Yes.
So your local collection will hold data. Your user master doesn't have data, but your local collection has data. But when you make it for query, what, now only you are going to take it from user master. Now if you do the query, you do not have any data for user id 1.
Okay.
So that is the deferred. That is the difference between this is immediate execution and this is deferred execution. That's the difference. Got it?
Okay. Yes.
That's all. So basically, you can um, what you can do is, let's say, you can use this type of code also. You can do, but when you add something called to list, okay, when you do something like, how do you think you can force a query to execute immediately? That's the important question. Okay, that you should have got the question now. Okay, so only if I write code in this way, it will do and deferred execution. No, you can write code in this way also. This is an old way of writing code. Okay, you can always do this way also. But if I write code in this way, how do you defer it to making immediate and deferred? Okay, when you if you want to make your query execute immediately, you should call it by you should be calling it by dot to list dot to array methods. If you do this, then you are making it an immediate execution. If you are not adding to list to array, then you are making it as an deferred execution. That's the difference. Got it?
Okay.
That's the only thing. That's the only difference. So I think that's what we have. Everything. Any questions? Any doubts?
Mm, no.
I want you to try all these. Okay, just try one by one. Entity framework is something that it's very easy to understand. If you try working out, then it will be very simple for you. Okay,
Okay.
yeah. Try and let me know if you have any questions, any doubts. If something is not coming up for you, we'll work on it. Okay.
Okay.
So anything else?
No.
So tomorrow, what shall we do is we'll just continue in the same thing. We'll create an Angular project and we'll work on that Angular project. Okay. we'll
Okay.
create.
There is three like layer architecture iterated.
Okay,
It's
I already told, no, layer architecture is how you write an interface and your model and your
okay.
repository. You have to create. I can do this in a single thing. See, I'll show you the difference. Come to my this is my controller, no, so I am directly doing my entity framework here. Okay,
Okay.
let's go to show you some. Okay, see, I am doing the entity framework directly here. I can do this, still it will give me result. Okay, I can even return this user as a result.
Okay.
Okay, but still I can do this one also. What's the difference? This is my layered architecture. See,
Okay.
how many layers you have in MVC? Can you tell me what is the what layer architecture that you use in MVC?
Like for example, three tile, we can say that.
You use three tile layer. No, what is that three tile layer? Can you tell me?
Once, for example, we have data model.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Once is repository,
Mm-hmm.
and third one is it's a MVC project our.
Okay, so actually, MVC itself the three layer. You have model, we have view
Okay.
and controller. That's the three layer. Okay, that's the three layer.
Okay.
Basically, we have two layer architecture. We call it as MVVM. Okay, instead of controller, we call it as model and view. We directly connect with the from model to view. Okay, that's two layer architecture. Single layer architecture is the ASPH. Okay, so
Okay.
here you are using three layer architecture. You have a controller. Okay,
Okay.
you have an
Yes.
interface, and you have a model. Okay, and you have a repository, and you return the model to the controller using repository. So you still use three layer architecture here. Okay, I
Okay.
can cut out anything and make it as a two layer, like still whatever it is, you are using a multi-layered architecture here. And API doesn't need you should use a multi-layer architecture. MVC you should use multi-layer architecture because that is how it is designed. um, API depends upon you. If you want to use multi-layer architecture, it's actually nice, neat and nice. Okay, that is multi-level architecture.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
No.
Yeah, yeah. If you have anything else, let me know in the tomorrow class. Okay.
Okay.
So basically, what we will be continuing is we will have the .NET Core as it is here, and I will create an Angular project. And first, I will let you know what an Angular project and folder definition and all. Tomorrow, I'll give you all the gist and where to create the code, and we'll see one by one from the basic. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, just practice the .NET Core entity framework. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
and let me know. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Then yeah,
Yeah.
Jignesh, let's see tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.